They call it the world's greatest short track, but Hickory Motor Speedway can only be won for one driver here tonight. Ted Wade's 4 wins this season leads the battle for the championship, and many have battled him, but few have truly rivaled him this season. Will anybody be able to do so tonight? Hello and welcome to Racecraft TV's coverage of the NASRA Triple M Polling Truck Series Concerns of Police Survivors 175. My name is Ian Fisher, and alongside me in the Racecraft TV booth tonight is Taylor Burris. And Taylor, we come here to what they say is the world's greatest short track here at Hickory Motor Speedway, but you know here on iRacing, it's always exciting, it's bumping and banging, and it's going to be an interesting race here from start to finish to see if these drivers can really manage side-by-side racing here for 175 laps together.
It really is, and good evening, everyone. Ian, this track is going to provide a lot of chaos, a lot of beating and banging, and of course provide some great short track action. Of course, what better way to do it than with the NASCAR trucks, who are going to be taking here for 175 laps. Looking forward to tonight's action.
Yeah, it should be something to see here tonight, and it's going to be a tight championship battle we're looking at all the way to when our playoffs start here October 28th at Michigan International Speedway. And you look at it right now, you see that Ted Wade, 4 wins on the season. Chris Cinnamon, Joey Doucette, Tyler Dittmer, Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, other race winners we see here. But look at that cut line. It's only 5 points to the plus for Brandon Bullock and 5 points to the negative for Keith Bradley. So any of those drivers have a good night here tonight. They can really catapult themselves into a position to really make a run to the playoffs running here down the stretch.
It really is. This is going to get exciting, and at a track that will provide some great side-by-side racing action here. Qualifying is currently underway for our drivers, Ian, but this is going to get exciting to see because of that point between Bullock and Keith.
Yeah, and so far our points leader is continuing his domination. He's at the top of the board right now with a 14.647. Taylor Peacock in P2 with a 14.791, and really it's a tight grouping all the way from first all the way to 15th, and anybody below that is really running a 15-second lap time, but really not much difference in lap time here tonight, Taylor.
No, it really isn't, and it's going to be critical to see how these drivers will be able to make this work. This track here, even though of its short track nature, with these trucks, it provides a unique aspect of racing. Yes, we're used to seeing the trucks race at short tracks such as Martinsville, Bristol, but this is a track more dedicated to super late models in today's standards, and we don't normally see trucks racing around this circuit or this style of track and any of the current years in recent time.
Well, I was going to touch on that as well. This is very different from, say, a Martinsville or a Bristol that we're used to seeing in NASCAR. We see this look as you come in the main gate here. You see the sun drop sign there on the left-hand side. Really invokes that old school feeling of a short track, and you mentioned it, more akin to late model racing, maybe even modified racing comes to mind with a track you see like this, but not something you're used to seeing with these trucks. So a really old school feel like we have here tonight for this race.
It really is, and this is going to get exciting to watch and see who will be able to live life in the fast lane and take home the checkered flag here and see about clinching their way into the playoffs later on this season or preventing others from making their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, and really that's going to be the name of the game tonight, and we're going to take a look at the grid here. But you mentioned it, Taylor. Ted Wade really just trying to take a stranglehold on that championship lead by going in on your pole position tonight at 16.647. He'll be joined on the outside by Taylor Peacock in the 81 machine, with Michael McKinnon in the 13 truck in P number 3. Dana Shepard on his outside, 4th place in the 45 truck, and Jason Morales will be, Zach Hartwick in the 24 truck will be in 5th. Keith Bradley rolls off in the 29 machine, P6 outside of row 3. In row 4, Jacob Klinghart in the 5 truck rolls off in 7th, and Keith Haney in the 78th in 8th. Row number 5, Taylor Dittmer in the 34, and Jose Luis Rivera in the 20 truck make up row number 5 with 10th place on the outside there. Brian Abbott in the 82 will roll off 11th. Devin Painter in the 99th, 12th, makes up row number 6. Row number 7 will be Christopher Blanchard in the 19 truck, and Adam Cantwell in the 8 truck. Row number 8 will be Justin Lumpkin and Stephen Thomas in the 23, make up P number 16. Jason Morales in the 1 truck will be roll off in 17th, with Blake Lothe on the outside of row 9 in the 43 machine. Adam Newbert in the 4 machine, and Cody Knott will make up your top 20, Taylor.
As we move a little further into the 21st position, Robert Richards in the 48 machine will be starting in 21st with Ro Meza in 22nd. Next will be Tim Hammond with Huck Whittington in 23rd and 24th. James, of course, Morris will be in 25th. And of course, 26th will be CJ Fonda. In the next row, row 14, 27th will be Steve Williams with Eric Zimmerman in 28th position. Rounding out your top 30 will be Joey Duchette and Brandon Bullock. 31st will be Trey Pitts and James Hanney. And last car to start, he's riding shotgun. He did not make the grid, is Tim Moore, or TJ Moore.
So 175 laps here at Hickory Motor Speedway, Taylor, and this is going to be probably a race of attrition for a lot of these drivers. This is one of the largest grids we've seen so far this season. So we'll take a look at a race analysis here. 175 laps. Your first stage, 50 laps. Your second stage, also 50 laps, but that last crucial stage is going to be 75 laps. It's really going to be a long run, and like I said, a war of attrition all the way to the finish here tonight.
It really is, and of course this is two-tire set, so it's a great time to utilize both the first stages to come down pit road, but we might see some changes later on.
And we are green flag racing here from Hickory Motor Speedway for the Concerned for Police Survivors 175 with the NASRA Triple M Polling Truck Series. Ted Wade out to an early going to get out to an early lead there over Taylor Peacock with McKinnon, Shepard, and Hartwait, the rest of your top five. And the rest of the field from about third place back right now, Taylor, is bunched up pretty tightly there. You see a little bit of bumpers being laid right there. Looks like that's the 45 machine of Shepard there with the 29 of Bradley. It looks like all the 20, we're going to have spinners there, the 45. We're going to have our first yellow already on lap 3 here, Taylor.
Already, we are already in chaos here at Dana Shepard in the 45 having a tough break here in the early stages of this race. Dana Shepard not in the top 16 at this moment, but with this, it makes it a little bit difficult to make their way in.
And we were watching that all along. We saw how everybody from about 4th on back was really just all battling for positions here. And it looks like, yep, the 29 of Bradley as well. And then that's the 20 machine as well, Lavera. Just kind of gets in there and just gets the nose and just takes the 45 around there.
He certainly does, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to race around here. You kind of don't want to be on that outside lane, and then you got a 3-wide action, and then just to chaos. Thankfully, everybody else was able to part the ways and not make any contact with the 45 of Dana Shepard, other than the intentional or the first set of contacts that happened.
Yeah, that really is a good point. Really, just those 3 trucks involved there that were initially just trying to all go for the same spot really too early in the race, I think, Taylor.
Certainly is. You can't be really pushing the envelope this early on in the race. You want to take care of your equipment and realize, yes, we have 2 stages, but also you don't want to get involved where you get in a contact after you come down pit road to fix your truck, because if you do, that's going to easily put you 1 or 2 laps down, and possibly if you come down pit road, you might be using up a set of tires that you do not need to be using in this early in the race.
I mean, I can't count the amount of times that I've come down pit road and forgot to uncheck that tire button too, so that's completely possible as well. And then also keep in mind, Taylor, no fast repairs for these drivers as well, so any damage that they incur tonight, you're gonna have to go through that for the whole 175 laps. You really don't want to put yourself in a hole early.
It really is going to be critical to see how these drivers pan out, as the 45 is getting a little bit slow. It looks like that driver is going to go 1 lap down. Nope, is going to finally get going here before we get the 1 to go and take the green flag, as we're going to extend it a little bit further.
We'll see if Ted Wade could get out to the jump that he did last time, really just stretched his lead over Taylor Peacock that time around, and he's just been the class of the field so far this season. We'll see if his dominance will continue tonight. I think we might go 1 more time around under yellow, trying to just get the field all settled around here. And predictions, Taylor, do we see a longer green flag run this time, or do we see a quick caution again?
From what everyone was showing on those first couple of laps, I think if we can start getting into that rhythm here and let these drivers just start logging laps, we could see maybe a good long green flag run, but we'll find out here as the pace truck pulls away.
Pace truck pulls away. Ted Way controls the field again, and he gets another good jump, but Taylor Peacock able to time it a little bit better this time. He's going to have a little bit of a run there coming off too, but it's not going to materialize into much until Way's able to clear him into 3 and 4. Peacock holds on to second place there pretty well. McKinnon and Klinkar kind of battling for 3rd and 4th, but the real battle is the Rivera, Hartwick, Abbott on back. Kind of see that on your screen right now, coming out at 3 and 4. And Taylor, you mentioned if these drivers can kind of just get into a rhythm, it'll be easier to kind of not only finish this race, but just kind of keep your truck clean as well.
It really is, and this track here can provide a lot of good, clean green flag racing here if you are able to mind your P's and Q's. We watch on here a little further back, the 34 of Tyler Dittmer now dives to the bottom of the racetrack and tries to stay in line. The only truck that's in the top 10 that is on that outside lane is the 24 of Zach Hardwick. He is battling with the 82 of Ryan Abbott. They're going to stay side by side heading into turn 3. Tries to show the nose, but that inside lane is really too strong at this point in the race. Now with Tyler, or with, of course, with Zach, he could utilize that outside lane, build up a little rubber, and be able to propel and get that groove going in. But right now, he's going to start falling back as here comes Keith Bradley.
And you mentioned it's so hard to be the first guy that goes up there to the outside line, and you can just see another truck passing him by right now on the bottom side that looks like that's the 34 of Dittmer now making the bottom side work. And it is very difficult to be the first truck going to the top side, but if you can make it work, you're right, you really carry a lot of momentum there, but it just doesn't seem to be working for him right now as he kind of tries to fall in line here. He's going to kind of fall back into 11th place. That's the 43 of Blake Lothian now challenging, with Haney in the 78 challenging behind him as well. Coming out at 3 and 4 here. Only lap 17 in this race, Taylor, so it's important to try to get these positions early, because track position is important here. It's not like you can just make up a whole bunch of spots here at Hickory, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind that you have to make these tires last as well. 175 laps is not going to get you on one set of tires.
It certainly is, and it's going to provide a little bit of opportunity for drivers to consider what to do with making that change in the tires as well. Knowing if you want to take 2 tires or 4 tires, most likely we'll see everybody take 4 tires later on in the run here. As the caution is out once again, DJ Fonda goes around.
You see one truck in the wall there. You mentioned it. That's DJ Fonda, the 53 machine, sporting the icy livery.
I could go for
trying
it
to get
right
it.
Now.
Ices do sound very good. And I don't really know what flavor it is, but I always just called it the blue icy when I was a kid. I think you just called ices by colors. That's how it worked.
I have to agree with you on that as we take a look at the replay right here.
We'll see. Doesn't seem to be much help there. Maybe just too quick back on the loud pedal there for CJ Fonda. It is difficult here. You have so much input of the wheel there that when you do try to get back on the gas, if you have it just too much, just the slightest bit too much, Taylor, you can go around like that. You see it.
Yeah, you certainly can, and it's very critical for you to make sure of how you put your car or your truck on the track and been able to hold on. Of course, we'll see what could happen here for drivers as they try to get themselves sorted out, but we're under caution for our second time here tonight. Drivers are going to try to see what they can do. As we look to the field, Fonda will be starting 32nd, but he looks like he's already going to be put 1 lap down.
Yeah, 1 lap down for CJ Fonda. It looks like so far that's our only truck 1 lap down. So he puts himself in the lucky dog position, at least for right now. Ted Wade still here later. Taylor Peacock, Blake Lothian, Michael McKinnon, Jason Morales, your top 5. Gonna go back to green flag racing. Looks like lap 23 here probably.
Looks like we're going to stay 1 more lap. Let's see if Benny, the pace truck driver, will be able to turn out those lights, and we'll go back racing here at Hickory Motor Speedway. And providing if things want to go on here, Ian, I mean, we're going to have to hold up another extension because we're trying to get some other drivers sorted out.
Yeah, it looks like right now Race Control is just trying to get the field all settled and making sure everything is in their right spot before we go green flag racing. So that'll be important. So, of course, Ted Wade's still in control of the field here. And he's just been dominant so far in this race like he has been all season long, Taylor.
He certainly can be, as we'll see how critical this will come out for him. Of course, Ted Wade has picked up already a couple of wins this season. He's picked up, at least from what I can see, 4 wins so far in this 2022 campaign. So he's got a lot of work to do for this season, and already very comfortable when we get ready for the playoffs in about a few weeks' time. But as we go back out to the track, you see Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn down on the pit road. It's going to be Ted Wade and Taylor Peacock coming to the green flag with Barney the Flagman. We're back racing at Hickory as we see Ted Wade get a beautiful jump on the field. Taylor Peacock and Michael McKinnon will go side by side for P2 as they come down the backstretch.
Really, that's the and the 81 of Peacock just gets so loose there out of 3 and 4. Really just trying to fight back right now on that outside line. He's getting battled there on the bottom by the 29 of Bradley now, and just too wide through the field, kind of 5th on back there, Taylor.
They certainly are. You see Peacock now starting to struggle now on that outside lane. He falls into the clutches of the 29 machine of Keith Bradley. Gets a big shove right there from the 5 machine of Jacob Clinchart as he is trying to hold on. Here comes the 99 of Devin Painter as well, right there in the mix. He'll turn him around as they come out of turn number 4. Saves it. We're still green, but one truck loops it around as we are now back under caution as chaos ensues on the front stretch here at Hickory.
And Taylor, I was just about to mention how hard it is for those trucks on the outside line, especially on these restarts, to try to file in and not lose that many positions. And you just saw it again there. 2 trucks getting together there, going side by side. It was the 99 of Painter trying to dive in there and just got a little bit too much on the inside, got the door there at Clinkart and put him around.
We almost made it through, but I think with how slow that 82 machine of Brian Abbott was going, could have possibly caused and collected a couple of other trucks involved with that, so that's why the caution did come out. We are about 20 laps away from the end of stage number 1 here tonight, as we'll currently see. And Ian, I know for a fact with how stage racing works, normally it's the top 10 who gets those much-needed bonus points, but I wanted to double-check with that for the NASRA's Truck Series here tonight, and make sure what some of the important details for some of these competitors.
Yeah, the best of my knowledge, that's how that works right now. The top 10 will get stage points, but it's always interesting to see, Taylor, if anybody tries to pit before the stage break and try to leapfrog that way on the rest of the field. And it really, I haven't seen anybody do it so far this season. And so far with all these cautions that we've seen, I don't think I'll see anybody do it before the end of the stage break as well, because you're not putting that much wear on your tires so far. And obviously fuel isn't a factor on a track that's short.
It certainly is not a factor whatsoever here for the NASRA Truck Series as we get this show on the road and get ready for another great run here to the end of stage number 1. We're happy to have you with us here on Racecraft TV to get this action underway when we already start to see some beating and banging, some scuffed up race trucks here tonight. As there you see Ted Wade, who's already picked up 4 wins this season, already got a little bit of paint scrapes on the back or that side or the passenger side of that number 2 truck.
Yeah, and really we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's going to be a race of attrition. You really just want to survive the night, and so far Ted Wade's done a decent job of doing that. But if we get a long enough green flag run, Taylor, lap traffic is going to be a factor very, very quickly. And I think that's going to be important if we do see a run like that, to see how Ted Wade can manage that lap traffic.
We really are going to see how that's going to come into play for our drivers here tonight. But one thing to keep in mind is, of course, going to see what these other competitors are going to do before we get to the end of stage number 1. As Benny the pace truck driver makes the hard left turn, Barney the Flagman has the green flag in hand. We're back racing at Hickory. Ted Wade gets another great jump on the field. Michael McKinnon tries to keep pace, but he's now under pressure from Jose Luis Rivera, who now moves up to P2. Taylor Peacock will follow suit to the bottom of the racetrack here as they go side by side for 3rd between him and the 13 of Michael McKinnon out of turn 4. Now we see these drivers on the outside lane stuck up there as they try to find a hole on the bottom of the racetrack.
And so far, nobody's been able to do it, and it's been a point of contention so far in this race. So we'll see if Devin Painter can kind of slide in right now. He's got a spot so far. We have another yellow on the racetrack right now. I'm not exactly sure what happened. You see the one truck spinning in front of you right now. That's the 13 machine.
Big pile up.
Yeah, a few trucks involved there. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, Taylor.
I have no clue what happened right there going into 1, but I think it all started with the 47 machine of James Morris, who might have caused the initial incident. We'll take a look at the replay. So Morris spins out in front of the field, and then as they make their way into turns, there you see Morris spinning around. Now, if we take a look at what happened here into one, I think when everybody saw the caution come out, everyone's trying to check up, and then just chaos ensues right there, and a lot of good trucks involved in this one here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the 99 of Devin Painter. If I see the pace truck just drove through him there, I don't think that's going to hurt him too much. Yeah, it's the 99 of Devin Painter there. So he had a good run going. See if we get another look at what happened here. And I think you're absolutely right, Taylor. Everybody just checking up after the yellow flag came out there. Yeah, you see the initial spin there. But that's really not the big incident. That's what brought the yellow out. Get it righted there and keep going. But yeah, that took a lot of trucks with it. And you got to be cautious of that too, especially with a short track like this here at Hickory. When that yellow comes out, a lot of trucks are going to be checking up, and there's really no place to go.
There really is no place to go whatsoever here, and it's going to be even more critical to see what will happen here as we progress through this race. We're coming to 10 laps to go left in stage number 1 for this race here tonight for the NASRA Truck Series. As we see one truck get its lap back, that's going to be the 26 of Cody Knott. But for Keith Haney in the 78 machine, he's still on pit road at this time. He got involved in the incident after the yellow flag came out, so he's going to be on pit road for a little bit longer trying to repair the damage to that machine. So we'll keep track and see how that's going to come out and play for these drivers.
Yeah, CJ Fonda did get the lucky dog that time around, so that's going to put him back on the lead lap. So at least he didn't have to wait too long for that, Taylor. But yes, unfortunate for Keith Haney. You mentioned that, I'm 4 laps down right now.
Yeah, it's going to be critical to see how this will play out for these drivers here as the field now goes double file, restart once again here. 9 laps to go left in stage number 1. Let's see if we can keep it clean and green for this race as Benny the pace car driver is about to make that hard left turn down on the pit road. Barney the flag man has the green flag in hand here as we're back racing. A little bit of a slow restart right there for Ted Wade, but here comes Jose Luis Rivera, who now tries to get the outside lane going. Contact around the go. Alpha turn 2, the caution is out.
And just again, more drivers battling for position into turn 1 and just getting together. You see there the 20 machine trying to get it righted. We'll get a look here at what happened there, Taylor, and it's unfortunate for Jose Luis Rivera.
Very unfortunate what happened to Rivera.
You mentioned a checkup. I'm really not sure if that had anything to do with it being at the front of the field there. I think that was just a missed braking point, really, Taylor.
I think so too, and I think it was a little bit of miscommunication as well as we ride on board with Jose Rivera, who now gets a little bit of the tap right there from the 81 of Taylor Peacock. Around he will go in the Race Labs machine, and then another big pile-up almost happened as everyone avoids contact. I believe that was the 54 who just had a close call right there.
Yeah, it's going to put Jose Luis Rivera at the back of the field. And again, just another product of short track racing here at Hickory. Really nowhere for these drivers to go. It looks like a wide racetrack there on your screen, but it's really kind of hard to put in perspective how it's not that wide as your race car driver as well, because you have to be down on that driver on the inside line. We've seen it all night long. That outside line gets freight trained, so you got to be down on that driver on the inside line as much as you can, Taylor, or you're going to lose all those spots early. So you have to be aggressive here.
You certainly have to, and it's also a mix of balance of being aggressive, but also patient for these drivers here, especially of how early on in the race we are.
Yes, you mentioned it, only 46 laps, and we're not even out of stage 1 yet. So stage 1, 50 laps, stage 2, 100 laps. These drivers trying to just hold on for stage points if you're in the top 10, but if you're right on that cut line, especially if you're on the cut line of points, drivers like Hartwick, Newbert, Morales, Meza, those come to mind. Lumpkin, those guys are really going to be battling for that 10th and final spot for the stage points.
It really is going to be critical for those final set of stage points here. Currently, Robert Richard is the last driver in the top 10 to hold on to those coveted stage points here, as we're going to double them up and go back racing here to bring the conclusion to stage 1 at the Hickory Motor Speedway for the NASRA Truck Series. as Benny, the pace truck driver, will make that hard left turn. Once again, he's led the most laps so far here tonight, as Barney the Flagman will look at these drivers with a stern eye and be like, let's go racing here, boys. And now they're back at it once again. Green flag in the air, and Ted Wade dives into the bottom of the racetrack, goes below that yellow line a little bit to try to get a better grip, but here comes Taylor Peacock on the outside. He shows the nose of that 81 Chevrolet with the following of the 29 of Keith Bradley. It's 2x2, 2 rows deep as they come out of turn number 4, and it's going to be 2 to go in stage number 1.
Bradley and Dittmer are battling for P3 and 4, but Bradley fell off on the outside line now. Clinkhart, after the earlier incident, is going to battle there on the inside line and try to make his way into P3. Peacock able to seal him off right now, and Dittmer trying to run down Ted Wade from P2, Taylor.
He certainly is, as they are coming to the green and white checkered out of turn number 4. Ted Wade has smooth sailing for him as they come across the line. Ted Wade will win stage number 1 here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Second place will go to Tyler Dittmer, Taylor Peacock in 3rd, Jacob Clinchard in 4th, Keith Bradley in 5th, Stephen Thomas, and then Adam Cantwell, Michael McKinnon, Zach Hartwick, and Robert Richards, your top 10 for stage number 1.
So those drivers collect stage points, and really Ted Wade just continuing his dominance there on the season, and really an easy drive for him, Taylor, with the amount of cautions that we saw in stage 1 there. All he had to do was kind of just start and get ahead for a few laps, and then the yellow would come out. So I know he's a driver that likes to get in a rhythm, but if it's going to come this easy to him, I'm sure he'll take it.
Well, with that, we're going to keep an eye on the action here tonight as we have completed stage 1. Now the question is going to be, will anybody come down pit road once the pit lane is open for our drivers to come down and get some tires and fuel? Or will they consider waiting it out till stage 2? These trucks can go quite a bit of a long time here around this short track here at Hickory Motor Speedway. So we'll see if anyone comes down pit road. The answer is going to be Ted Wade will fake him out, and everybody in the top 10 will stay out here for this first round of pit stops.
That doesn't surprise me too much, Taylor. We've had a lot of caution laps so far in stage 1, so those tires haven't had too much wear on them. And the only thing really I'd be concerned about maybe as a driver is the amount of heat cycles we saw on the tires with the amount of green flag racing, then yellow flag racing with the tires heating up and down. But nobody elected to go in that time around, so everybody's probably going to be pitting here at the end of stage 2.
It really is going to be critical for drivers here to see what's going to happen in this stage of the race, as the field is going to be pacing behind Benny the Pace truck driver once again here tonight. So we'll keep an eye and see who are some of our biggest movers so far. Of course, we do have a very special award to give out, the NASRA 360 Hard Charger Award, which currently, right now, if we look at timing and scoring, that position, believe, might be going to the number 48 of Robert Richards or the 17 of Brandon Bullocks. Both of them have picked up multiple positions. For Bullocks, he has picked up over just under 15 positions. He's currently sitting 16th after starting in 30th position. And then Robert Richards started 21st. He is in 10th position right now as we're doubled up, ready to go back racing here at Hickory for stage number 2. Benny the Pace car driver pulls off, and Barney the Flagman waves the green flag. We're back racing here at Hickory for stage number 2, and Ted Wade gets another great jump on the field as Tyler Dittmer tries to work the outside lane. He's under immense pressure, though, from Taylor Peacock and Jacob Clinkhart as they go side by side down into turn 3 and 4. Nose to tail as they work out of turn number 4. Great racing here on the opening of stage 2.
And Taylor Peacock, that 81 machine, has really found something here at Hickory tonight. You remember Taylor Peacock won our opening clash there, our no-am points race at Daytona, open our season, but hasn't won a points race here so far this season. Finds himself kind of outside the bubble, and we have a yellow on the racetrack again. I was going to say he finds himself outside the bubble, but really doing well here tonight. We'll see what brought the caution out.
Looks like the 094 machine of Steve Williams is around here. We'll take a look at the replay to see what happened to him. As he sends it in a little bit, a big checkup right there, and then he just gets involved in the accordion effect. Around he will go. No one else makes contact with him except for the two trucks that, hit him in front and behind. As we ride on board with him, we'll take a look right here. Big checkup right there in 3. He'll make contact with one, and then he gets hit by another, and around he will go.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him too, because he didn't really do anything there. Just kind of a reaction of everything happening around him, and just happened to be the one that went around. So unfortunate for the 094 machine there, Williams. That brings out, I think it's our 8th caution of the night, if not including stage breaks. I don't know, Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're close, if not right on the money, regarding that number currently here, as we are under caution for the 8th time here tonight. As the field works their way through around here at Hickory, we should be getting the 1 to go, if not 2 to go signal next time by for our drivers here tonight. So really important to see what will happen.
If you're one of these drivers in the front couple of rows, though, you got to figure out something on these restarts to try to take that P1 position away from Ted Wade. Because if the way this race is going, if you get in the front, you're going to be leading the most of this race, because we're going to see a lot more yellows. So track position is going to be incredibly important.
It is very important to see how these drivers will play out here in this stage, as we are going to get the 2 to go signal here this time by. So field is starting to get themselves doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing hopefully here to get set up for the end of stage number 2. We go to lap 100, so it's another 50 lap dash to the finish before we go to a 75 lap dash here for the final stage here tonight.
We'll see if Ted Wade can continue his mastery on the restarts. I'm sure he has, because he has all night, or all season long and all night long tonight. Taylor Peacock has had something for him on the outside line, though, and you mentioned working that outside line in, and the longer we go through this race, that's going to continue to be a thing. So we'll see when that finally starts to become a factor here, Taylor.
Well, if these drivers keep utilizing that outside lane, we could see it come to play at the end of stage 2, if not the end of the final stage here, as we see the green flag back in the air. We're back racing at Hickory. Ted Wade, another beautiful restart here tonight. He stretches it out to a little bit of a half a truck length advantage over Peacock and Dittmer as they go down the back straightaway side by side for 2nd and 4th position, as you see the 5 machine of Jacob Clinchart, who is trying to see if he can break up into the podium, as the caution is out once again.
And we'll see what happened this time. I think it's Hammond that's spinning there that you see on your screen right now. We'll see if you had any help here, Taylor, or if you just kind of checked up again. We've seen a lot of these accordion style wrecks tonight. We'll see if this is another one of them there. You see a few trucks around here.
And it looks like to be the case here, as we see the 20 of Jose Luis Riviera involved, the 99 machine possibly involved. As, yeah, just a big check. And there you see the 02 machine go around. That is currently, if I can find the 02 machine out on the track. That's the 93 machine, my apologies. That is the one who was involved in that incident. That's Tim Hammond, who was involved as well.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those accordion style accidents where everybody's either going for the same spot and everybody checks up at the same time, or the field checks up in front of them. So coming to lap 69 here this time around, and of course stage 2 ends lap 100. So we'll see if these drivers can piece together a green flag run here to get us to the end of stage 2. So far it's been kind of a struggle, and really these trucks, it seems that you might be watching at home going, why is everybody wrecking all the time and everything like that? And these trucks don't have very strong brakes, so it's kind of hard to manage that, Taylor. And as much as you're using them, they continue to heat up and they become less effective as the night goes on. So really the truck's changing from lap to lap, but with all these caution laps, it shouldn't be too much of a factor, but maybe something these drivers are struggling with here at Hickory.
It certainly seems to be. Of course, we've seen the highest ranks of NASCAR race here at Hickory Motor Speedway in the past. We've seen the Xfinity Series race here. We've seen the Grand National, or of course the Cup Series later in early years of NASCAR race here at Hickory Motor Speedway. But we've never really seen the trucks race. Now, they've raced at short track similar to this in the early days of the NASCAR Truck Series, but it's been a good, almost I'd have to say, over a decade since we've seen really this type of short track racing, those under a half mile, really raced in the world of NASCAR.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this track is almost like a mini IRP. It reminds me of that, with the long, wide, sweeping, flat corners. But we're back to green flag racing here, Taylor.
We are indeed, as we're back racing here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Just under 30 laps to go left in stage number 2. Ted Wade, Tyler Dittmer trying to work their way out through the corner now. As you see, Dittmer stuck on the outside. Gets a little bit of a nudge from the 29 of Keith Bradley as he's getting shoved up through the racetrack out of turn number 4. He will now fall back to P3 as he's stuck on that outside lane. And you see the 8. We haven't talked about him a whole lot. Adam Cantwell is really starting to show the case as the caution is out once again. Big issue heading into 1 as we have multiple trucks turned around. The 48 of Robert Richard, we saw him up inside the top 10 in stage 1. Now he's looped around outside the top 20.
And we mentioned it, it's just going to be a war of attrition here for these drivers. Can you survive all these yellow flags and all these incidents and just hope you're not caught up in one of them? See what happens here. Richard's in the 48 machine getting in the turns. It happened in turns 1 and 2s here, so it'll be happening in the entry in 1 and 2. Yeah, one driver just kind of locks it up there, you see, and just kind of takes around, collects the 4 of Adam Newbert there. Doesn't seem like got anybody else but him in the 48. Again, we see the yellow flag coming out, Taylor.
We certainly do see that yellow flag. Of course, this race, it has an incident cap for drivers. It's 20, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are coming close to that 20 lap or 20 incident points here before they are disqualified for tonight's race. So we'll see how this will come into play here as we are closing in on 25 laps left in stage number 2. And we'll determine to see who will win stage 2 here momentarily. Looks like to be so far Ted Wade is going to be possibly that one as the field works the way around. Currently, your fastest lap on the track is Ted Wade with a 14.890.
And that's not surprising at all. He continues to kind of dominate. We've been talking all night long about lane selection and this and that. And I think that applies for possibly everybody in the field besides Ted Wade, Taylor. I think it doesn't really matter which lane you choose. You really can't be faster than Ted Wade right now. He just gets such a good jump off the restarts, and then after that, he really can't be beat on the racetrack.
And with that, we are almost going to be 25 laps to go left here in stage number 2. And of course, under 100 laps to go overall. We're happy to have you with us here on Racecraft TV as Benny the Pace Truck Driver pulls off. Barney the Flagman waves the green flag, and we're back racing here at Hickory. And once again, Ted Wade pulls out again over Taylor Peacock. How about Jacob Clinchard? He's now on the bottom of the racetrack for the first time here in a while here tonight. He'll get to the inside of Peacock, but thinks better of it. Tries to see if he can propel himself on the bottom as we see a little beating and banging between this 34 Tyler Dittmer and Keith Bradley in the 29.
And Clinchard able to do a really good job there, able to get underneath the 81 of Peacock for second position. Now Peacock is going to do a good job here of holding off Dittmer, going into turns 3 and 4. But Bradley really pressing the issue right now. He's the most aggressive driver really out there on the racetrack, kind of side by side there behind him as we have another yellow out on the racetrack.
55 of James Haney goes around here. He was in 15th position, but now he falls all the way back to 29th. As unfortunate for him involved in this incident.
Taylor, did you see the pace truck there kind of jump the tire? That was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool here. Yeah, as we do have our first disqualification here tonight. Blake Lathane is going to be out. He reached his incident limit as we'll take a look at the replay.
Oh yeah, just 2 drivers trying to get off of 3 and 4 there, and just I don't know if they thought they were clear, maybe didn't have their spotter on, but they definitely weren't clear there and just kind of took out the 55 machine.
It certainly is. Another truck has taken it behind the wall as well. He did not hit his incident limits, but he is too heavily damaged. The 47 of James Morris is out of tonight's race.
And we usually don't see the incident limit come into play. Kind of appropriate that it is coming into play here at a short track, though, Taylor. I guess if it is going to play, you'd see it here or maybe someplace, I guess, Daytona or Talladega comes to mind. All both incident-prone kind of racing styles, but really didn't expect to see the amount of cautions we've seen here so far tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be critical to see how these drivers will be able to work their way on around the circuit here. We are closing in to the end of stage number 2. Now the question is going to be, Ian, with how many cautions we've had so far, one of the things we got to ask is, will anybody pit at the end of stage number 2?
I think with the amount of cautions that we've seen so far, that does really kind of start to ask that question. And we see one driver on pit road getting serviced right now, the 94 machine of Eric Zimmerman, maybe trying to fix some damage from an earlier incident. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you see especially Ted Wade try to fake out the field again, maybe try to draw some guys down and then get back up there and try to spare him in the pack. But with the amount of cautions we're seeing here, it doesn't really surprise me if anybody's trying to stretch it all the way to the end.
Yeah, we're going to see how this will come into play here as the lights are out on the pace truck here. It's going to be 90 laps to go left in the race, just a little bit over 10 laps left here in stage number 2, coming up to now 14 laps in stage 2. As the field will make their way heading into course turn number 3 and 4. Betty, the pace truck driver, makes the hard left turn out of harm's way. Ted Wade in his number 2 truck will lead the charge out of 4. Racing is back underway. Not a big start, and here's trouble for the 5 machine. He'll go up the racetrack 3 wide as they come through 1 and 2, and now they dial themselves back up a little bit. But for Clinchard, a tough break right there. He'll fall back to P4.
Yeah, the 34 machine, Taylor Dittmer, does a really great job there of trying to check up for the 5. The Clinchard kind of got a bounce to the outside line, but not really losing much space himself. Able to hold off 2 trucks behind him, kind of a battle. 2 trucks too wide here. The 23 machine of Thomas and Cantwell, the 8 truck on the outside there before caution came out last time by. Taylor, you mentioned the 8 of Cantwell. I haven't really talked about him much lately, but finds himself up there inside the top 10.
He is having a great show here, and of course making his way back into the corner. Now Clinchard gives a little bit of a bump right there to the 29 of Keith Bradley. As we look a little further back through the field, there you see the 53 machine working his way up to the field. That's CJ Fonda along with the 48 of Robert Richards. Throw in also the 93 of Tim Hammond. All of these drivers involved in incidences throughout tonight's race. As we go back up through the field, there you see the 82 of Abbott as well as Joey Duchette battling for position. This is the battle for P14. Up ahead, you see the battles for 12th between Bullock, Lumpkin, and Jason Morales as they head into 3.
Yeah, and Raul Meza, your first driver inside the top 10, and this battle right behind him right now. That's the row 37 machine you see right there, and then behind him Morales and Lumpkin. And you mentioned Joey Duchette earlier in that kind of bubble spot for the playoffs. Does have 1 win under his belt, but just trying to get up there to Ted Wade and try to do what he can to try to solidify his playoff position really right now. If you're any one of these drivers looking at Ted Wade and you find yourself in a playoff spot, you really need to get another race win under your belt, because Ted Wade has 4. Everybody else in the field has 1 right now.
Right there goes around Rivera. He gathers it back up, saves the truck, but unfortunately he'll drop to 20th position after that. We do got to report Dana Shepard is out of the race due to disqualification, reaching too many points on the incident limit, but a close call right there for Rivera.
Yeah, Rivera, another one of those drivers that finds himself right along that bubble. So if they can have a good run here and try to snatch a win, puts them in a really good spot for the playoffs. We were talking about that, Taylor.
Certainly is, as another truck might have had another issue. Devin Painter also received a disqualification, as he will be out of the race after having too many incident points here. As we go back up through the field, there you see the 2 machine of Ted Wade trying to work his way through and coming up to the tail end of the lead lap cars. So he's going to start working through lap traffic before we get to the end of stage 2.
Yeah, and the deeper we go into this race, we will start to see some of these drivers reach their incident limit. And this is one of the higher truck counts we've seen so far this season, Taylor. So, maybe not necessarily that any of these drivers aren't skilled, but room for these drivers to work on this racetrack will probably help us keep the cautions down.
2 laps left to go here in stage number 2. As the field works their way down the back straightaway, Ted Wade has checked out to about 0.6 of a second over Keith Bradley. Taylor Peacock rounds out your top 3 as they come out of turn number 4. He's got a gaggle of lap cars in front of them as he crosses the line here. We'll see. He's got 1 more time to go around this circuit. Will he be able to hold off Keith Bradley as he negotiates the lap traffic? He looks to the inside of the 94 of Eric Zimmerman for position. Out of turn number 4, green and white checkered in the air for Ted Wade as he'll sweep stage number 2. As we're going to continue on here, as the caution is out for Zimmerman, who will be able to get back up onto the lead lap. And with that, we are concluding stage number 2. With that is Ted Wade, Keith Bradley, Tyler Dittmer, Taylor Peacock, Jacob Clinthart, Steve Thompson, and of course Adam Catwell, Michael McKinnon, Zach Hartwick, and Raul Meza rounds out your top 10 for the end of stage number 2. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will bring you the final stage of the NASRA Truck Series live from the Hickory Motor Speedway on Racecraft TV.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Racecraft coverage, or Racecraft TV's coverage of the NASRA Truck Series, as we are going to have to extend our caution just a little bit longer. Race Control saw that the field was not totally set up yet. They're going to have to let the 55 of James Haney around the pace truck, or put him to the tail end of the longest line here, as they will send him on his way. Taylor Burris here, along with Ian Fisher, Zach Johnson, our producer. Zach, it's been somewhat of a chaotic night as Benny, the pace truck driver, will move out of the way. And what in the world is he doing? The 55 machine, as the green flag waves, he's going to let the field go. The 55 should have just went down pit road, honestly, if he was going to stop right there in the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, interesting decision.
Oh, trouble on the back. The 29 machine goes around Keith Bradley. We're still green flag racing, but he got disqualified due to the fact of too many incident points.
Yeah, and I think that's the only reason that we see green flag racing still. Dittmer, Klinker, Thomas still battling for those final podium positions there. We see the 23 of Thomas. Haven't seen him much today, but doing a great job there with the run so far. The 87 of Lumpkin and Hartwick on your screen right now, with Rivera battling on that top side. We have one truck in the wall. Rivera disqualified, I think, as well. That's Newbert as well, I think, spinning on the inside of the grass there.
Multiple trucks involved. You see the one of Jason Morales as the pace truck decides to do a wheelie off a pit exit, as Jose Luis Riviera is going to be disqualified as well for too many incident points. I did see the 4 truck as well of Adam Newbert involved in this incident. We'll take a look here at the replay. Rivera goes a little wide, hits the wall, comes and makes contact. He will then be disqualified, and then around goes the 1 of the 4 machine as the rest of the field tries to negotiate the 2 wrecked race trucks out there on the circuit.
Just can't seem to get any kind of just rhythm to this race so far, Taylor, and not really any fault of these drivers. It's very hard going back and forth from caution to green flag racing. As a driver, you can't get in a rhythm as well, and when the field's this bunched up, they always say it, it's old racing saying, cautions breed cautions, and I think we're just seeing a lot of that tonight.
Certainly is the case here tonight, and it's going to be critical to see who else will be able to survive this race, because we now have at least 6 trucks out of the race because of disqualifications here. So now the question is, who else could possibly join the ranks, and who is looking at their, of course, they're looking over at their incident levels to see how many points do they have and how many they can work with.
Yeah, it's a surprising dynamic, I guess, of iRacing. You don't see very much in real life, is these drivers checking their incident points and hoping they're not at the incident level. So I guess maybe you don't have certain risks that you do in real life racing, but you get whole new fun strategies like incident points, Taylor.
You certainly do, of course. And what the closest thing we could probably say about incident points for those of you who are maybe new to Racecraft TV's coverage is kind of considered, of course, a way to promote clean racing. Now, if you make contact with the wall, spin out, or contact with another vehicle out on the track, that counts as a incident point, and it's ranked by how severe the damage and the hit is. It could rank from 1 to 4 in that stage, and of course, the race control has set a certain limit, in this case 20, for the entire race. And then once you hit that 20 mark, you are automatically disqualified, pulled out from the race. Your night is done, and unfortunately for at least 6 drivers, they are currently out of the race, as the field will now make their way down the back straightaway. Double file, lights are out on Benny the Pace Truck driver. The cleanest truck, I have to say, out there here at Hickory Motor Speedway, as Barney the Flagman, with his ever-watchful gaze, decides, nope, the field's not ready to go. We're going to go one more time around.
I was going to say, you were talking about incident points, Taylor. I don't think they should ever count for me. I don't know about you, but my incident points should never count.
Well, I agree. They should never count for me either. But of course, unfortunately, iRacing is, not going to be biased towards any single driver on the iRacing service, and will determine what is best and what will be the best way to give out those beautiful penalty points. As we now try to go racing once again, Barney the Flagman likes how the field looks. We're back racing, and Dittmer gets a great run over Ted Wade, but can't quite make it work. How about the 23 of Steve Thomas is now involved inside the top 5 for the first time tonight?
Yeah, he's having a really great run right now, getting down to the bottom side, really holding off the 87 of Lumpkin right now. Dittmer finds himself kind of stuck on that outside line. You see him losing positions right now. We'll see if he can hold off coming on the backstretch here, heading into 3 and 4, Taylor.
As they're going to go now single file, you see Dittmer stuck on the top side of the racetrack. This opens the door now for the 87 of Justin Lumpkin to try to see if he can pick up a spot as the caution is out. Christopher Blanchard in the 19 and the 27 machine also involved in this incident, as the pace truck of Benny the Pace Truck driver just gives no care whatsoever. He's going to go right through the 27 machine, as you just saw on your screen, as we'll take a look and see what happened to Christopher Blanchard. Entry pit flow.
See if he gets any help here. Oh, no, he had the one truck bouncing off the wall. I think that's what happened there. I'm not sure who that was, but one truck bounces off the wall and gets in the Blanchard, essentially what happened there, Taylor.
Looks like to be the case here, as he'll back off on the track. And there you see Benny just out there having a wild, good old time here. He's got to try to have a little fun when he's leading around here.
Yeah, and when your truck defies the laws of physics, it's really easy to drive through other trucks, as you see there as well. But these trucks, unfortunately, do have to adhere to the laws of iRacing physics. So you see the 27 going around there right now. Other trucks doing a good job to avoid.
Yes, very good job for the rest of the field to avoid the chaos that ensued here heading into turn 1 and 2. And now this opens the door for Jacob Klinkhart to move up into P2. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and you've seen him trying to make the inside line work, and that's got him to the P2 position. But once anybody's been able to get to the front row, Ted Wade, they haven't really been able to do much off the initial restart, and he just kind of drives away from the rest of the field. So now it's Jacob Klinkhart's turn to see if he can do anything on that outside line.
We'll see what he can do here, as another... Nope, he was already disqualified. Blake Lathone has already decided to disconnect from this event, as we currently have 19 trucks on the lead lap. We have 4 trucks who are 1 lap down. Then you have Hanny and Knott, who are still in contention for this race in 5 laps and 6 laps down. So we'll see what they can do here, as you see the 19 coming off of pit road to try to rejoin the circuit. That's Christopher Blanchard, as the field now is going to double up here, and we'll hopefully go back green flag racing here today, coming up to 50 laps to go in tonight's race.
I don't know if we can get a stat from our producer, Zach, if he's got the time, but I'm curious what our longest green flag run of the night has been, because yeah, what you mentioned earlier, if you can make it all the way on one tank of fuel and this set of tires, you might as well go for it. So we might not see a trip to pit road for our leaders here.
I have seen it done before. I've done it myself at Martinsville, not having to make a single pit stop for tires or fuel because of how many cautions. As we're back racing here at Hickory, and Ted Wade is able to stretch out the race lead once again and pull away from the field. Jacob Klinkhart will now stay in second as the battle for third between Thomas and Dittmer will battle on for third as the rest of the field jockeys for position.
Yeah, so far doing a good job of trying the race. Just 2 wide so far. Don't see any 3 wide racing through the pack here. Kind of a mid-pack battle here. 2 trucks getting together, but they're able to hold it here. You got 1 truck in the grass. We'll be able to see it. That's the 24 machine. Just really jostling all for position here mid-pack.
That was Zach Hartwood who decided to take his truck off-roading here at Hickory Motor Speedway, as we see more trucks jockeying and working their way around, trying to see if they can log a couple of green flag laps here at Hickory, as we keep an eye on the battle for the 16 car of Joey Duchette, who tries to break into the top 10. Brian Abbott is disqualified after too many incident points as the field continues to log laps here at Hickory Motor Speedway.
And I think we're going to see that attrition of incident points continue to be a factor as we have another yellow flag come out. There's 1 truck flipped over in the fence there.
Ooh.
Didn't have that on my bingo card here tonight for Hickory.
Well, now add that to your bingo card right now as we'll take a look at the replay of who in the world was that. I mean, I've seen many crazy things here on iRacing, but getting stuck at the catch fence at Hickory, that's a new one for me, as the 94 just pushes the 55 of James Haney up into the catch fence.
Yeah, that's definitely has an incident reset to pit road. We'll see if he can get that truck going again. See what the impetus of this was. Here you see the 55 of Haney on your screen now, and oh, I see. 94 there just got loose and got in the Haney, and there's nothing really he could do about that, Taylor.
No, there's nothing at all. James Haney will now come down and take a tow on pit road. That's Eric Zimmerman in the 94 who made that contact with him, as he will still remain out on the racing circuit, as we are under caution here with 45 laps to go at Hickory Motor Speedway here on Racecraft TV. We're happy to have you with us. Taylor Burrows here along with Ian Fisher, Zach Johnson, our producer here tonight, as we have a lot of great things to come here on Racecraft TV.
I don't think we have had a stint of green flag racing so far longer than 10 laps, so really just this becomes a mental battle for these drivers too. This is not easy from a driver's standpoint, starting and stopping like this. It's really intense on all these restarts. You're really up on the wheel. You got to be mindful of trucks on your inside, possibly trucks on either side of you while you're racing here on a very narrow surface. So really just a war of attrition for these drivers, and anybody who's up here through the top 10, it's been a real battle for him tonight, Taylor.
It really has been a real battle, and of course Ted Wade is looking to pick up his 5th win of the season here so far, and he's been showcasing his talent all night long. Nobody been able to really touch him. We'll see what Jacob Klinkhart can do here in this final run to the checkered, if he can have anything on the outside lane, but keep an eye on Stephen Thomas and Tyler Dittmer, as we're going to get 1 to green here this time by for your race leaders, as we're closing in on 40 laps left to go in tonight's race.
40 laps to go, and really gets just down to crunch time here. I mean, you got to think if you're a driver in one of these trucks, you've got to go and get all the track position you can, because you're going to continue to see the yellow flag come out. So if you have an opportunity to make a pass, you got to make it, but that's also probably why we're seeing all these yellow flags as well, Taylor.
We certainly are seeing that happening here as the green flag is back out. We're racing here at Hickory as Ted Wade gets another great jump on the field once again. How about this? Tyler Dittmer will look to the inside of Jacob as they head side by side down into turn 3 and 4. Stephen Thomas looks on in the 23 Toyota as they come out of turn number 4. He'll try to see if he can squeeze his way to the inside of Klinkhart as he now shows the bumper, pushes him up the racetrack just a little bit, not able to make anything work.
A little farther back, Peacock able to clear Richards there for P number 6, and just a good run from Peacock as we have another yellow flag on the track. Just a good run by Peacock. I think that's Mott in the 17 machine, a Team Watson Racing entry, I believe. Able to get it going here. Brings up the yellow flag again here at Hickory Motor Speedway, and we're no stranger to that at this point, Taylor.
We certainly are not. As we take a look at the replay, I believe Zach Hartwick, who will be disqualified, was also involved in his 24 machine. He did get some stage points, so that will be beneficial for him. As there you see him disappear, and the 17 machine, around he goes of Brandon Bullock as you ride on board with the Team Watson Racing Toyota as he tries to negotiate through all the chaos. 3 wide at Hickory, not the best idea this early on.
Yeah, but you see how quickly those gaps close up from that onboard shot. Not really anything Bullock could do there in the Watson machine there, and you think it's there, and then it closes up so fast. You can't really anticipate what drivers on either side are you going to do when you make a move like that, Taylor.
You certainly cannot here, and unfortunately for him, he will have to fight his way up from the 17th position. Have to keep track also of his incident levels, as the 19 machine of Christopher Blanchard will get his lap back and rejoin back on the lead lap. Here is the 18th car as we are closing into 36 laps to go. As Keith Haney decided to try to see if he could work on his number 78 truck, decide he cannot fix it. He takes it behind the wall. His night is done as well. We still have at least 23 trucks out on the racing circuit after the 32 who was started here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to put Adam Newbert in the 4 machine. Your first truck 1 lap down, so he's in a lucky dog position. And really right now, even if you do find yourself a lap down, you're not entirely out of this race, Taylor. He only finds himself in P19, so able to make up some positions if he can get himself on the lead lap.
I'm curious to see who has a clean truck, if anyone does, out here on the racing circuit. I look at Adam Cantwell in the 8 truck. So far has a pretty decent clean truck. Raul Meza in the 37 has a pretty decently clean truck as well. As far as everyone else, yeah, no, that's not the case. As we see the pace truck pulls off, we're back racing here at Hickory, and Ted Wade pulls out ahead of the rest of the field as they dive it into turns 1 and 2, as he will try to pull away by about 2 truck lengths over Clinch Hart and Tyler Dittmer. As Jacob tries to see what he can do on the inside lane, he'll push Tyler up the racetrack a little bit as they head back into 1.
Yeah, Clinker back on his third line there on the inside, able to make easy work of Dittmer there now. Dittmer able to seal off Thomas for P3, and Lumpkin really giving some challenge there to Thomas. You see Peacock there, the 81 machine, rounding out the top 6 trucks here. Everybody kind of single file on back through that, doing a good job of filing into position this time, Taylor.
Watching Tyler Dittmer and Stephen Thomas battle for that 3rd position. Justin Lumpkin watches on as the caution is out. Multiple trucks involved. The 21 of Trey Pitts, the 00 of Huck Whittington, and I believe also Eric Zimmerman involved in this one as well.
Tough for Huck Whittington there in the 00 machine. He's in his rookie campaigns, and Taylor and really just kind of can't seem to find a break when it comes to this incident. Always seems to find himself in there. But when you find yourself at mid-pack, really just battling in these spots there, as we see the 27 truck go around 19. You see the 4 of Newbert there also collected in that one as well. So when you find yourself in mid-pack like that, you find yourself with these incidents, especially here at these short tracks.
You certainly do, and you're just going to see the chaos ensue. Once again, a hard hit right there for the 93 of Tim Hammond, as I think I might have saw Trey Pitts decide to take it. Yes, he takes it up onto pit road. Safe to say for that 27 machine, his night may be done as well here at Hickory Motor Speedway, as we're closing in under 30 laps to go.
Still 16 trucks on the lead lap, but we're continuing to see that number kind of dwindle down, Taylor, with all these incidents that we're seeing. So if you're one of these leaders, you kind of start to have to think that, you know, Ted Wade may have this one a little bit in the bag with just what we're seeing tonight so far. So you kind of look at your points position and you start making your survival here, maybe not so much as the win.
Yeah, you certainly have to, especially, and of course, with how many races are left in the regular season, there is about 5 races left, or 4 races left. We have Pocono, Talladega, Rockingham, and Charlotte is the regular season finale on October 21st. So there is some other great chance. So of course, there's some wild card races as well, as we see them going to get the 1 to go signal here next time by. As we're about to go back green flag racing here, we should be coming up to just about 25 laps to go when they take the green flag.
25 laps to go, and I don't think we're going to see any less as far as cautions go, Taylor, especially here at 25 laps to go, and it's just going to be go time for all these drivers as far as what they can make up as far as positions here in this short amount of time they have left here at Hickory Motor Speedway. I think Ted Wade's going to get out to an early jump, as you see here, but we'll see what happens as the pace truck dives in the pit road.
Ted Wade, Jacob Klinkart is going to lead him to the green flag. Wade doesn't get the really best to start as he loses control. This opens the door for Klinkart. He'll take over the race lead as Stephen Thomas will move up to P2. What happened to Ted Wade?
I'm not exactly sure. He's losing it again there. You see how loose he is. I think possibly spun the tires there on the restart and just dealing with the after effects of the heat in the tires there, Taylor.
It certainly seems to be the case as he is able to stop the bleeding in third position right now. But for Jacob Klinkart, he moves up the field. But here comes Ted Wade back on the offensive now. He wants to go and try to chase down your top two as they cross the line here. As the caution is out, Robert Richard involved, Steve Williams, also Jason Morales. Those two will be disqualified for incident points as they will continue to work their way around. But for the 48 of Robert Richards, he was the one who is going to be one that we have to look at regarding this incident.
Yeah, and Klinkart finds himself in a very, very interesting position here without a win on the season. Able to make the pass happen on Ted Wade there after he got a little bit loose on the restart. We mentioned the spinning the tires. There's the 48 machine of Robert Richards collecting it there. Kind of surprised with the incidents he's been in that he's not close to that incident limit. So really fortunate to see that 48 truck still on the track there. You see him getting spun there coming out of turns 4. But kind of an interesting dynamic to this race here with Jacob Klinkart now in the lead now. Ted Wade finds himself in third. You can see how aggressive he was coming back through the field, Taylor. But with all these cautions coming out, he's not going to have many chances to get back into the front of the pack.
He certainly is not here as Robert Richard will come down pit row. But for Stephen Thomas, this is a great opportunity for him, for Jacob Klinkart as well. This is a very good opportunity for him to come out with a race victory. Of course, looking through the entire season so far, neither one of them has picked up a win this season. So this is a great, amazing opportunity for them to find their way into a chance into the playoffs. Klinkart is comfortable in the standings. He's 103 points ahead of the cutoff line. But for drivers such as Stephen Thomas, he's not even inside the top 20 or inside that top 18 right now. Or actually he is. He's currently sits 115 above the cutoff line. So he is also looking to see if he can get a clinch into the playoffs.
Yeah, but one driver that doesn't find himself in that position, Taylor Peacock, 35 points outside of the playoffs right now. So he's one of those drivers you mentioned, Taylor, that could win his way into the playoffs very easily here from Hickory Motor Speedway. He has a little bit more of a tougher time of doing it there than maybe Jacob Klinkart, your leader right now. But Klinkart does find himself in a very advantageous position here, though he does find Ted Wade breathing down his neck there on the inside line. So we'll see what he can do here. And I don't know about you, but Ted Wade is spinning his tires there on the restart. Kind of puts my thought in my head that maybe tires are starting to be a little bit of a factor here. So we'll see what happens here with 20 laps to go now, Taylor.
We certainly will here as we currently have 16 trucks on the lead lap, 20 left out on the racing circuit. CJ Fonda is the first car multiple laps down at this time as we see them head their way down towards the pit entrance. And of course, Benny, the pace truck driver, pulls off. Barney the flag man waves the green flag. We're back racing here at Hickory, and Klinkart leads the charge. But here comes Stephen Thomas on the outside. He's going to try to battle side by side for the race lead and be very aggressive as Tyler Dittmer moves up to P3.
And we mentioned how drivers are going to try to make that outside line work, especially later in this race. But right now, I think if you're Stephen Thomas in the 23 machine, you got to be tighter on that 5 truck. You really got to work that outside line or be right on the door of that 5 machine, giving him too much space right now, but able to hang on side by side through 3 and 4 right now, Taylor.
Ooh, around goes Klinkart as he tries to save the truck. He will be able to, but he falls all the way outside the top 8 and falling continuously as Stephen Thomas leads the charge.
Yeah, and he's going to find himself at least outside the top 10. That's really going to open the door here for Stephen Thomas. You find himself here with a 0.6 of a second gap. You see it there to Taylor Dittmer in the 34 machine. Ted Wade had the checkup for that as well. He finds himself behind Dittmer, and 15 laps to go here. Running out of time here for the 2 machine, and it's really looking really good for Stephen Thomas in the 23.
He has a half a second lead over Tyler Dittmer and Ted Wade, who are going to battle as Adam Cantwell will be disqualified with too many incident points here as they work their way out of turn number 4 here. It's going to be coming to 13 laps to go here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Can Klinkart find his way back up to the field as Michael McKinnon breaks into the top 5 after getting around Taylor Peacock? Joey Duchette wants to also capitalize on that.
Yeah, and you could see Peacock there really had a moment for 3 and 4.
Trouble.
We got a big trouble back here. Still green flag. Great. Oh, no, the other yellow is going to come out. You see that's a big wreck there involving the 37 machine of Raul Meza. We'll see what happens here with the replay. You see the 37 machine on your screen there. 12 laps to go. That's probably going to bring out a 10-lap shootout to the finish, Taylor.
It's certainly going to be the case here, as Adam Newbert, Robert Richard also looks like to be involved in this incident. They have been disqualified after that. As we take a look here, there you see the 48 of Robert Richard, and the 4 machine of Newbert just loops around, makes contact, and then the disqualifications and the chaos ensues here.
And I think you see just drivers trying different things here with their trucks, trying to find different lines, find all the speed they can. I think we saw Newbert there on the outside line. We get one more look at it here, going into the 1 and 2 and just kind of loses it entering in there. I think we're starting to see tire wear be a factor here in these trucks.
We certainly are, as we see the chaos that ensues here at Hickory. I've lost count of how many cautions we have had, but I think we're at least over maybe 12, maybe closing in on 15 cautions we've had so far, not counting, of course, the 2 stage breaks that we've had.
But let's just say if you were playing some kind of drinking game that involved cautions tonight, you'd be in very bad shape right now, Taylor.
Yes, you certainly would be. So please drink responsibly. But if you are doing a drinking game with tonight's race, have another round for us here tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and good luck, too, if that's the case, yeah.
Oh, goodness. We're happy, though, to be having a good time here. Of course, Ian Fisher, myself, and Zach Johnson, our producer. And, of course, for those of you who are watching here on Racecraft TV, I mean, we're all here to have good fun here at Hickory Motor Speedway with these trucks. These drivers are putting on as best of a show as they can here. It just shows how difficult it is racing around this circuit.
Well, and as a former race director of a local short track, you may think at home this is a little bit ridiculous, but this is pretty much Saturday night racing all around the country. It's kind of a mess, to say the least, but it's an organized mess. It's a lot of herding cats, but these drivers right now, I think we only have 13 trucks on the lead lap, and yeah, you just got to survive that Saturday night feature and hope you find yourself with a big check at victory lane at the end of the night, Taylor.
Certainly will be the case here, as we'll see who comes out on top with this race. We're going to be going back green flag racing with 6 laps to go here tonight. And Ian, I have to double check, do we have green white checkers here for tonight's race, or if the caution comes out in that certain period, will we stay and end under caution?
I believe we have 2 green-white checkered attempts here in the NASRA Triple M Polling Truck Series, so we might be able to see 2 green-white checkered attempts here. Tire wear is probably going to be a factor. Gas, obviously, these guys are good to go. Back to green flag racing here at Hickory Motor Speedway. 7 laps to go. Taylor, we'll see what happens here in this final shootout.
We are certainly going to see that come to play as Stephen Thomas tries to pull away from Ted Wade in that second position. He'll dive to the bottom of the racetrack of Tyler Dittmer here and push him up the racetrack. This gives the opportunity for Stephen Thomas to pull away as they head back into 1. 5 laps to go as Barney the Flagman gave him the big high five as they head back down the back straightaway here. How about the 87 of Justin Lumpkin looking to get into the podium here for tonight as they work their way out of turn 3 and 4.
And then you mentioned it, Lumpkin really just taking advantage there. Ted Wade moving to the inside of Dittmer, and now Lumpkin's trying to do the same as well, and Dittmer kind of finds himself on the island there as we see the 94 truck around. Right now, we still are green flag racing. Stephen Thomas still leading this race, but Ted Wade now is able to get past Dittmer and is trying to run him down here, but he only has 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go as they head back down the straightaway here. Stephen Thomas has half a second lead over Ted Wade as they come out of turn number 4. Popsicle sticks in the air from Barney the Flagman. Christopher Blanchard has been disqualified with too many incident points and now moves the field up a little bit further as they come down the back straightaway here. Stephen Thomas has a half a second advantage over Ted Wade as they come to take the white flag here at Hickory. Stephen Thomas has made it official. Anything can happen. He could still have a chance of punching his way into the playoffs. Ted Wade tries to find any way he can to run him down, but it's too little, too late. And out of turn number 4, Stephen Thomas wins at Hickory.
I don't think any of us were expecting Stephen Thomas to go to victory lane here at Hickory. Ted Wade looked like he had this race in the bag, Taylor, but just that one mistake on that restart late in this race was enough for Stephen Thomas to capitalize on some late race slips from Clinkard and end up here in victory lane, and he's going to burn it down here.
He will celebrate here on victory lane as he tries to bring home the victory. Oh, a couple of trucks are getting in the way of the victory celebrations as Taylor Peacock makes contact with Stephen Thomas. As the 16, also his teammate, I believe, will celebrate with him. as we'll go ahead and give you the Concern of Police Survivors 175 full field rundown as Virginia native Stephen Thomas comes home in first, Ted Wade in second. Tyler Dittmer makes it a podium finish for Virginia natives as Justin Lumpkin will come home in fourth. Michael McKinnon in fifth with Jacob Klinkhart coming back to recover to sixth position. Joey Duchette in seventh position with Taylor Peacock in eighth. Tim Hammond in ninth, and Raul Meza rounds out your top 10, Ian.
And Brandon Bullock, your Team Watson Racing machine, your number 17 machine is P11. Eric Zimmerman, CJ Fonda, Christopher Blanchard, and Adam Newborough round out your top 15. Robert Richards in the 48 machine after some race shenanigans, to say the least. Taylor comes home in P16. Adam Cantwell in the 8 machine. We saw him up there in the top 5 all day long, having a good run, but also getting caught up in some accidents as well. P17, Jason Morales, the 1 truck. P18, Steve Williams in the 92, 19th. And Huck Wigington, the rookie, comes across and round out your top 20, Taylor.
In 21st will be Trey Pitts, followed by Zach Hartwick in 22nd, Brian Abbott 23rd with James Haney 24th, Cody Knott in 25th, Jose Luis Rivera in 26th, Keith Bradley, Devin Painter, Dana Shepard, Blake Lothane in rounds out your top 30. Then it's James Morris and Keith Haney rounding out your 32 field of drivers here tonight. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will, of course, sit down with your top 3 finishers here tonight. You're watching the NASRA Truck Series from Hickory Motor Speedway, live on Racecraft TV.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV's coverage of the NASRA Truck Series from Hickory Motor Speedway in a chaotic and exciting checkered flag finish. It was Stephen Thomas who came home with the checkered flag after capitalizing on the mistake of Ted Wade, your points leader. As Stephen Thomas joins us, Stephen, walk us through that exciting final few laps here as we saw the amazing battle and fight you had to put up here at Hickory.
That's how I feel about it, guys. That one needed that one. I needed that one so bad. I did not come into this race thinking that I was going to win at all. Once I started running halfway decent, I thought, okay, give me a top 5. And then, like I just told Ted a little bit ago, I started eyeballing his line with about 40 to go, just watching him enter the corner. And I tried to start hitting it. And once I got the lead, it was a wrap, man. Nobody had anything for me.
Well, of course, here at Hickory, we saw the chaos that ensued. What helped you to survive this chaos? Of course, staying up front was one of them, but we even saw some of the chaos happening up at the front of the field.
Just watching 4 or 5 cars ahead, man, and trying to get stopped before it happened. I think I started 5th, 16th tonight, so I actually dealt with a lot of it in the beginning. And I went into it just riding the low line the whole time, making sure I could get low. That way, if something happens, it seemed like all the wrecks were kind of washing up the track. So if you get on the brakes soon enough at this speed and get down, you can pretty much avoid anything. So that was pretty much my game plan if anything happened in front of me. But once I got in the top 5, man, all these boys were running clean. Me, Justin, what was it, Jacob, clean card. I'm so sorry that happened to him, but I mean that was racing incident in my opinion there. And then Ted and Tyler, they were so clean up there, man. I wasn't worried about it once I got up there with them.
Well, before we let you go and celebrate this victory, Stephen, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, I'm not really prepared to that, man. I want to say thanks to everybody that was watching on the broadcast. I want to thank you guys, for having the broadcast. My grandparents are always tuned in and watching, so I want to thank them if they're still here. And I want to thank NASRA and Brady, Triple M Pooling and Michael McKinnon, Butt Kicker, NASRA 360, Pulse Poppers, Starbase Comics. It feels good to be back in this interview and saying this. It's been a while. I went through a bad stretch there, so it feels good to be back in here. And thank Family Handyman and my family here. And y'all have a good night.
That is Stephen Thomas, your race winner, as Ian Fisher has caught up with second place finisher, driver of the number 2, Ted Wade.
And Ted, you had the most dominant truck, it seemed like, all evening long. It just came down to a mistake on a late race restart. What happened to you there from your point of view?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I got a good restart there, and I think when I shifted into third, it just broke the truck loose, and I was just trying to save it. I was trying not to wreck everybody at the front of the field, but luckily I came back in it.
Yeah, you did come back in it pretty well. You managed to run back down and get yourself back in the P2. Do you think if you had a few more laps, you'd be able to run Steven down?
We needed long green flag runs. If we had a 10 or 15 lap run more, I might have had something. But lap time wise, we're pretty much matching each other and keeping pace.
I mean, you mentioned that the runs of green flags. How difficult was it out there as a driver? That sporadic pace of the race, not a lot of green flag racing. How tough was it for you out there?
I wasn't too bad. I just thought back to Martinsville, man. I knew I needed to stay out front and just stay focused on restarts. That was the biggest thing. Get out front on the restart.
Well, looking forward to Pocono next week for you, Ted. Who do you want to thank and who gets it done for you out there on the racetrack?
Oh, yeah, man. I'd like to give a shout out to John Hedrick at Over the Top Designs, Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, Bruzy Racewear, Triple M Pooling, NASRA, you guys over here at Racecraft, my teammates at Upfront Motorsports. If it wasn't for everybody, it couldn't be possible.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking some time for us up here in the Racecraft TV booth tonight, Ted. Congratulations on your P2 finish.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
And that was Ted Wade, P2 finisher here tonight from Hickory Motor Speedway. And Taylor is standing by with our third place finisher, Tyler Dittmer.
Here with Tyler Dittmer coming home in P3. Tyler, you've been all up inside the top 5 for a majority of the night here. Walk us through just being able to survive here at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Trusting who you're running around, because you'll get a 4X for not even hitting people. I mean, it's frustrating. Short track racing, and it's like you'll run clean races. Like I had a little bit of damage on the truck, but not much, and I had 12X. So it's just, it's a frustrating thing. You have to be super cautious. Like I wasn't gonna run super tight on Ted's door there on that final restart, so he was able to get around me. He was fast. I mean, obviously, I think the top 3 guys, if it was like a 50-lap race or 50-lap run, top 3 of us, we'd pull away and probably have a great battle amongst ourselves. But it's trust and being cautious.
Well, of course, we head off to the next round, which should be, I believe, at the Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, another track that provides some great racing. Your thoughts there and what to expect?
Pocono's a great track. It's a lot of momentum and flowing and getting a good exit off the 3 to set yourself up for a great run down into turn 1. That super long straightaway is huge. So it's just all about setting up the next corner, I think, at Pocono. Kind of like a road course almost. You want to get good exits. Entry isn't as big. It's all about the exit at Pocono. So it should be a fun race. I love the track. I think I'm fast there. I hope I'm fast there. And I'll go for another podium and a win next week.
Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates at NCRC. I'd like to thank my family, my fiance, everyone who supports me throughout this. I'd like to thank Lazorix Racing, Luke's Hobbies, obviously you guys, Pulse Poppers, Concerns of Police Survivors, Butt Kicker, Millie's Catering, everyone who makes this happen. Mr. 360. So yeah, follow us Facebook, give us likes, give us give us a couple subscribes on our YouTube page. Hopefully we get some more content up for everyone, and we appreciate y'all tuning in, and hopefully at least some people were entertained, because I know it was pretty frustrating for a lot of us.
It certainly was. That's Tyler Dittmer coming home in P3 here tonight, as it is time that we come to a close here. Ian, final thoughts on this somewhat of a chaotic but interesting turn of events here for tonight's race?
Well, short track racing, what do we expect to see here, Taylor? A lot of beating and banging, a lot of caution flags here from the world's greatest short track, Hickory Motor Speedway. But I think we're going to see a different dynamic next week when we go to Pocono. The tricky triangle, the 3 turns these drivers have to deal with. You see that there, September 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern here on Racecraft TV. One of the only tracks we might see some shifting out of these drivers, and who knows who ends up in victory lane. I think Ted Wade's going to have another strong run there, but really tough dynamics of that Pocono Raceway. A lot of high RPMs. Really got to manage your truck and manage your momentum all night long there from the tricky triangle.
And we will see you next Friday night, September the 30th, here on Racecraft TV for the round 11 here at the Pocono Raceway. Of course, though, it is time we come to a close for the entire Racecraft TV team, including, of course, the great Joshua Lee, our producer, Zach Johnson, and my co-host tonight, Ian Fisher. I'm Taylor Burris. Thank you for watching tonight's coverage of the NASRA Truck Series from Hickory Motor Speedway. We'll see you next week from the Tricky Triangle.